Before we get started, I would like to introduce to you our webinar moderator. Susie Truitt is the distributor manager at Felix Instruments, and she's been with the company for 8 years. She will be handling the chat box and posting relevant links and monitoring the chat for any technical issues you might be having. So before we get started, I want to address some housekeeping. So for all questions that you might have during this webinar, please use the Q&A function in Zoom. You will find that if you have a full screen mode at the lower left corner where it's highlighted on this mock-up. Please refrain from using the chat function unless you are experiencing any technical difficulties such as a lack of sound or video. If the sound's too quiet, anything like that, please let us know in the chat. Otherwise, if it's a question, regardless of what it's about, please put that in the Q&A chat instead of the actual chat box. So those are highlighted for you in that picture to the right. As I said earlier, Susie will be posting all relevant links and any extra information that is needed, seeing as how you will not be able to actually click links that are in the PowerPoint during this webinar. So a little bit about myself before we get started. My name is Galen George. I'm an application scientist at Felix Instruments. I have a Master of Science degree in food science from Michigan State University, and I'm an IFT certified food scientist. I come from a background in food safety and also from nutrition labeling. I worked as a nutrition lab manager for 2 years, managing analytical testing of nutritional parameters, quality parameters, food safety parameters, and shelf life testing. I also worked as a food safety consultant for the food and manufacturing, the cannabis, and produce industries. So let's get started. Kind of give you a brief overview of the agenda for today's webinar. We'll start off with an overview, and we've already gone through some of the introductions. I'll go over an overview of our company and the F751 meter, and then we'll get into the applications and the specifications of the F751. We'll talk about who's using it currently, how it's currently being used, and also some nitty-gritty details of how the meter actually works. Then, what I'm sure a lot of you are excited for is that we will have a live demonstration. I will do my best to kind of explain all the main features of our instrument and also Fruit Maps, which is our free application for harvest management. And then we'll end with a Q&A session where I will go through in order all of the questions that are listed out in the Q&A box. So Felix Instruments was founded 6 years ago, and it applies more than 30 years of experience in plant research instrumentation to create tools for the agricultural industry. We've taken all of our experience in building tools for the plant research community as CID bioscience and taken that knowledge to create non-destructive measurement tools to help commercial agriculture produce a more consistent and higher quality product. All of our product line is engineered, tested, and manufactured under the same roof at our headquarters in Camas, Washington, USA. To give you a brief overview of the F751 avocado meter, the F751 meter measures dry matter in avocados, and dry matter is a key parameter for determining avocado quality, not necessarily because dry matter is the key quality indicator, but because it has a very tight correlation with oil content in the avocado. The current practice for determining dry matter in avocados involves very costly, time-consuming, and destructive laboratory techniques. In fact, a recent interview with Mission Produce with Adrian Rico, who is an R&D project engineer, stated that by using the microwave method, it consumes about 2 to 3 hours of labor per worker in a single day. And that day, they can destructively measure up to 30 avocados a day, which is equivalent to approximately $40 a day in lost sales. So we've identified a really strong need for a means to rapidly and non-destructively measure avocado quality. And our solution to that is the Felix Instruments F751 Avocado Quality Meter. The applications for the F751 Avocado Quality Meter aren't just in harvest management. They can range from anything from quality management in your cold storage rooms and ripening rooms to retail outlet inspection and import quality assessment, or to be used in research at a university level or for government or regulatory agencies. As I mentioned before, Adrian Rico at Mission says that they use their F751 meters not just for potential harvest management operations, but also mainly for their R&D projects to determine soil treatments and nutrient content of their soil to determine which plants and which treatments are most optimal. So who is currently using this avocado quality meter? As I've already mentioned twice now, Mission Produce is one of the largest avocado producers in the world, and they use our F751 avocado quality meter in both an R&D and QA role. In some of their facilities, they use it as a backup instrumentation to the classical microwave analysis in the hopes of phasing out the classical laboratory microwave analysis. In other roles, they use it for R&D to determine, as I mentioned, plant and soil treatments. And then they also are just now starting to learn about implementing it for harvest down in Peru. Dr. Kerry Walsh, who is an esteemed professor down at Central Queensland University, is one of our best and main collaborators for this project. He has a lot of experience in NIR spectroscopy for fruit quality assessment, and he helped us develop our model for these Hass avocados. Also, Dr. Jorge Asuna Garcia at INIFAP has been of tremendous help in helping us develop this model. He mostly studies post-harvest and food safety of fruit crops, particularly mango, avocado, and papaya. So getting down into kind of the nitty-gritty of how the F751 works. The F751 is a portable NIR spectrometer. In essence, it sends light particles into the avocado and measures the light interactance with molecules in the near-infrared spectrum. The spectra obtained from the sample measurement is then referenced against our robust built-in model, and the resulting dry matter value is displayed on the screen. So while the instrument is capable of collecting a wide range of data, it is also able to internally calculate and reference the built-in model that we have created so that you don't have to do any chemometrics or advanced statistics analysis. One of the greatest features of our F751 is that it comes enabled, fully equipped to work with Fruit Maps, which is our free interactive harvest map application. With Fruit Maps, you are able to create custom plots and wirelessly upload measurements directly from your instrument. You are able to also assess other parameters, track weather data, and monitor your harvest from anywhere in the world on any device. Some of the features of the F751 include the fact that it's GPS enabled and Wi-Fi capable. With the GPS enabled, you are able to easily map your crops and track your harvest, while also seamlessly downloading your data to a PC or uploading it directly to Fruit Maps using the Wi-Fi capability. We've designed this instrument to be extremely user-friendly. Measurements come in under 12 seconds, and the instrument itself is lightweight, portable, and durable, and also ready to use right out of the box. We've also created the instrument to be field ready for those harsher conditions. We use transflective display, similar to what you would find in like an Amazon Kindle, so that it has easy outdoor viewing with minimal glares. And we also include 2 sets of rechargeable or replaceable batteries so that they last all day long and that your instrument is never down. By including 2 sets, you can always ensure that you have 1 set of charged batteries at any time. To dive into some specifications, as we've mentioned before, the F751 takes dry matter measurements in a non-destructive way. It uses a spectral range between 640 and 1050 nanometers. The data that is actually recorded is the raw data, reflectance values, absorbance values, first and second derivatives, GPS coordinates, date, and time. Therefore, at any given time, at any given spectral data taken, you have the exact location, date, and time that you took that measurement, as well as an abundance of data if you so choose to access that. The battery life is approximately 500 measurements, which should easily last anyone all day. The body is a heavy-duty powder-coated aluminum, and it weighs a little bit over 1 kilogram. If you need more in-depth specifications, please feel free to visit the F751 Avo product page on our website. The link can be found in the chat, as well as in this presentation when it will be sent out later. And now, I'd like to provide you guys with a brief demonstration of the F751 Avocado Quality Meter. I'll be demonstrating both the instrument itself and, briefly, fruit maps. Bear with me for 1 second while I switch over to my video feed. So this is the F751 Avocado Quality Meter. As you can see, it comes equipped with a hand strap, and it is small, lightweight, and very portable. The lens is at the top of the instrument, and the only buttons that you need are right here at 4 arrows, the power button, and the measure button right here on the side. So when you power on, you'll just have to wait for a few seconds in order for the ready screen to be available. And immediately right off the bat, you are prepared to take an avocado measurement. No navigation or anything necessary. And there, in under 12 seconds, you have an avocado quality measurement, 25.8% dry matter. So now to get into some specifics, because not everyone will want to just straight use it immediately upon turning on, there are a few details and best practices that you must know. The first being that when you measure your avocado, we prefer that you measure, and we recommend that you measure on the dorsal side, which is the side that is larger from the stem. So you'll have your ventral side, which is much narrower, and then your wider dorsal side. So we recommend from the dorsal side at the equator, the largest part of the avocado, because that is where you will have the lowest amount of dry matter, or the area that matures the slowest, so that you are guaranteed not to accidentally harvest when your fruit is underripe or under mature. The second thing is that all of these measurements can be organized very neatly, either prior to measuring or after measuring. In order to organize a measurement after measuring, such as this measurement that I just created, I would simply click right, and I would follow this screen that has 4 different prompts. The options are to select a recently used lot, to select a lot from the list, to enter a lot manually, or to delete this measurement entirely. So for instance, if you're measuring your avocado and you notice that it was wobbly, or if you notice that it was in a poor position where light was escaping, then you might want to delete your measurement and try again. It is very important to make sure that throughout the entire measurement process, the avocado is stable and covering almost the entirety of the lens. So getting back to the organizing of the measurements, from these options, you can, for instance, create a new fruit. So this organization scheme goes from an entire plot down to a plant and then down to a fruit, and each one is numbered. So say, for instance, this is in plot number 1, and this is on the first plant that I'm measuring, but it's the 4th fruit that I want to measure. So it was on fruit number 3, but now I just click the arrow up and transform that to fruit number 4. From there, to accept, you just click the right arrow and click it again, and now it is saving. So now up here on the screen, it'll read plot 1, plant 1, fruit number 4. It'll also tell me that there's only 1 of 1 records. So if you want to increase your accuracy of measuring your fruit, it is recommended that you take multiple different scans, upwards of 4, to increase the accuracy of the instrument. The instrument itself can provide you with some helpful statistics as well. So if you click the left arrow at this reading screen, you will see that we are now on the fruit 4 summary page. This shows that there's only 1 record or 1 reading. It also shows that that reading was averaging at 25.8. For instance, if I wanted to look at fruit number 3, I would scroll down, and there's fruit number 3. It's showing that fruit number 3 also has 1 record, and it's at 21.4. If I go to fruit number 2, you'll see that there's 11 records, and this shows the average and the standard deviation. Now bear in mind, these aren't actual true real values of a single fruit. This was multiple scans of multiple different fruit. So don't take these statistics too seriously. So now, and then obviously there's fruit 1 with, again, 8 records, so 8 scans of the single fruit with an average of 24.5% dry matter and a 5.2 standard deviation. If you go back even farther, by hitting the left arrow once more, you'll see that it goes even farther up the organizational tree. So now we're at the plant level. So this would show that there's 21 records across this entire plant, the average of which is 25.9% dry matter and a 4.2 standard deviation. Go even further back and it shows the entire plot. So as you can see, there's plenty of opportunity for you to create multiple areas and plots to average and average all your data on. So what you can do is do it manually by entering it on the actual instrument, or you can take out the SD card on the very top and plug it into your computer, open the Notepad app, and quickly and easily type in your plot organizational scheme, or your measurement organizational scheme. So if you want to go back to the main menu, you simply click the left arrow one more time after that screen, and you're back at the main root menu. The options here are to browse measurements, to upload to fruitmaps.com, or to organize your measurements before you take them. The last option, set up instrument, will only need to be used in certain cases. So there are multiple ways for you to take your data off of the instrument itself and put it into use for you in a usable format. One of which is to take out the SD card and plug it right into your computer so that you may then take that data and use Data Viewer, an application that we've built, to export that data as a CSV file so that you can open it in Excel and view the data. Another way is to upload it directly from Wi-Fi by connecting your computer to the Wi-Fi network within the F751. And the third way is to utilize fruit maps. So with fruit maps, you would simply go to this option in the root menu, and you would click the right arrow to proceed with upload to fruit maps. This only works after you've created a fruit maps account and have registered your device. So now I will show you by sharing my screen what fruit maps looks like and how to navigate it. So this is the Fruit Maps application. In essence, what you can do is after you've created an account and you've registered a device, you can upload it seamlessly into pre-made plots. To create your plots, all you do is add boundary points, and you can form any geometric pattern you want using these boundary points. So here, I've made a very odd and obviously not useful plot, but in essence, this is how plot making works. You would just keep adding points until you've determined what you want your plot to be. And then you would simply say, save as plot. You can also add multiple different crops if you would like, and you can also add multiple locations. Over here, you'll notice that there's attribute type, attribute target, maturity threshold, and daily increase. And there's also a start and end date. So here you would add attributes that you're interested in, such as dry matter, the target that you are looking for, and the maturity threshold. Once you upload your data points, they will appear as either red dots or blue dots on the screen within each plot. The red dots indicate that these plants have not yet met their attribute target, and the blue dots indicate that it is okay to harvest those plants because they have reached or exceeded their maturity threshold. Unfortunately, we're not able to actually show you any of our currently in use fruit maps because that's all proprietary information. However, it has been implemented very successfully with many of our clients. So let's go back to our PowerPoint here. So in addition to the brief demonstration that I just gave you, we have filmed and will be posting soon a live video tutorial kind of explaining what I just explained. So if you need to see that again, that will be available. Additionally, this presentation will be available after our webinar is concluded today. And really, this instrument has been designed to be this simple that we just simply don't have a ton of features to talk about because it's so simple to use. Right out of the box, requires very minimal training. So kind of to summarize what we've already talked about, the F751 will provide you dry matter results in seconds, and it's an easy to use instrument. Like I said, requires very minimal training and eliminates all the costs and hazards that go into classical laboratory analysis. And additionally, with the GPS and tracking and the Wi-Fi, you can utilize fruit maps to control your harvest and manage your crops from anywhere in the world. The F751 has a wide range of applications beyond just harvest management. As we discussed, Mission already is using it for post-harvest quality assurance. You can use it at any point in your cold chain to replace the current laboratory standard of microwaving to determine dry matter. You could even use it for import and retail outlet assessment, and again, for academic and government or regulatory research. And finally, we at Felix Instruments pride ourselves on our support and also with collaboration with our customers. So as long as our customers are satisfied, that means that we're going to have higher quality fruit in the market, and everybody likes good fruit. So if you have any questions at all, if you have any insights that you want to give, if you have any collaboration opportunities that you would like to reach out, you can always reach out to myself or anyone at Felix Instruments, and we'll put you in the hands of the right person, and we'll be glad to discuss those opportunities. So just sorry, I just realized that I was still showing you the fruit maps. Let me really quick share with you the presentation. All right, let's get back to that. I apologize for that, everyone. But moving on, in summary, after that demonstration, what I just discussed with you was all kind of summarized on this slide. As I said, dry matter results in seconds, using fruit maps with our seamless GPS tracking and Wi-Fi, using it for not just harvest, but for anywhere along the cold chain of your process for quality assurance or for research purposes. And also that, of course, we're always here to help our customers and make sure our customers are satisfied. Just a little insight into what we're working on currently. We have been in development of an F751 Mango quality meter, which is a dry matter and Brix measurement meter. It'll be able to instantly assess important quality indices and predict sugar content, which is linked to consumer acceptance of the mature fruit. The F751 Mango quality meter will be coming out within the coming month. The F751 Kiwi quality meter will also be a dry matter and Brix measurement instrument. This is coming soon as well. So please, as I mentioned, always feel free to reach out to us with any questions, any insights, any reviews, anything that you have to say to us. We are more than happy to listen. You can reach out to us via phone or email at sales@felixinstruments.com. You can always go to our website, which is the best place to stay updated on what we've been up to. For any new product line updates or any development projects, our website will be the first thing to be updated. Our Twitter is @FelixInstruments. Our Facebook is @FelixINST. And our LinkedIn page is also below. And as I mentioned, our office and headquarters is located in Camas, Washington, USA. So if you ever are in the Pacific Northwest and feel like stopping by to say hello, feel free to stop by. And finally, we'll have time for lots of questions because this presentation and webinar is not quite been 1 hour yet. So as many questions as you want to ask, feel free to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I would also like to mention that currently we have avocado meters in stock and ready to ship. So this won't last very long. We will definitely be on back order at some point. But if you want to place an order this week, you will receive a free pair of these stylish avocado socks. Please feel free to click the tiny URL link, which will be in the chat box, to request a quote. For any other sales questions, and please feel free to reach out to sales@felixinstruments.com to request a quote. If you've already received a quote, all you need is a PO in order to order those, or in order to order a unit, an F751. You also can follow up with me if you have any more application questions, or if you need a consultation or further demonstration of the instrument. I'm always happy to do that as well. So please feel free to reach out to my personal email at the company, which Susie will post in the chat, and we can discuss what your needs are. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into some of these questions. Looks like we have a decent amount here. So Duncan asks, carrying the unit around the orchard and holding up to fruit gets tiring. Any developments on an extension snookle that you can attach to the unit and just hold that to the fruit? Now, Duncan, actually, I have not heard that yet, so I will actually make a note right now that that is something that is being requested. So thank you for giving us that request. Give me 1 second. All right. Does the instrument require calibration? That's a pretty popular question. The answer is no. It does come right out of the box ready to use, and it gets more accurate the more that you use it. So the more scans per fruit, the more fruit scanned, the more accurate it'll be. This instrument was built on a model that was developed for Hass avocados. So if you're planning on using other varieties of avocados, then there will be some calibration involved, which I think answers our next question of what varieties of avocado will the instrument measure. So currently it has only been used for Hass avocados. However, we anticipate that it will work very well for other varieties. It'll just require some calibration in order to use it that way. And we will be updating you on our progress in that endeavor. There's a lot of interest in tropical avocados, tropical cultivars of avocados in recent months. And so that is something that we are currently investigating. But right now, it is a model based on a model that was developed using just Hass avocados. The next question is, can the instrument be used in packing house and cold storage? Yes, it most certainly can be used in a packing house and in cold storage. And in fact, it is already in use in those applications for a couple of our clients. It's a good replacement for the wet current laboratory techniques used to measure dry matter, and is a pretty quick and rapid approach to on-the-fly measurement or even quality assessment of your avocados anywhere throughout the cold chain, including your packing house or cold storage. The next question is, what is the repeatability? Can you do a few measurements in and around the last measurement you did? So the answer is that we have just put up our validation studies on our website, and I would like to direct you to those to determine all the statistical analysis that you want to on our instrument. I will have Susie post the link in the chat for the product page. It is simply a tab underneath the F751 Avocado product page. And under that tab, you'll be able to download our validation studies data, our data in Excel, so that you can assess for yourself and see for yourself what our repeatability is. And then the next question was, what range of dry matter can the device accurately cover? Is it accurate at 12% dry matter? So yes, we actually created this model at a very, very wide range of maturity of avocados. So all the way from extremely immature all the way up to fully mature and over mature. So this instrument maxes out at 40% dry matter, and it also goes down to a range that you will most certainly be able to measure 12%. The next question is, do you have any public studies to compare measurements done with your equipment versus using microwave or oven? So yes, we, as I mentioned, have the validation up on our website now. And we also, that is exactly how we created our model, was by performing microwave analysis side by side with our instrument in order to attain a model that accurately assesses the dry matter. The next question is, the best way is measuring on the larger side of avocado, so why needs multiple measurement to get the average for single fruit? That is just a recommendation on our part. Taking multiple scans is simply a recommendation if you want to increase the accuracy even further than what you get by just taking a single scan. A single scan is perfectly fine to and accurate as well. But if you want to significantly increase and make sure that your measurement is exactly what you want it to be, then taking multiple scans is going to be obviously better than taking a single scan. But a really good snapshot of the least mature part of the fruit is the way I said, using the dorsal side of the fruit and at the largest part on the equator on top of the lens, covering as much space as possible. The next question is, would it be accurate out of the box in New Zealand, or would it need additional calibration? Is it best practice to calibrate each season? That's a great question, because there is obviously differences in climate and weather, and also in the variety of avocado. Even if they are still Hass, because they're grown in different regions, there is going to be slight differences. So if you are taking measurements and do notice that there is any sort of difference, please reach out to me or my coworker Eric, who's another application scientist, and we can get in touch with you about how to go about performing a robust calibration in order to correct for any differences that there might be. So the next question is, do you get different accuracy on different avocado cultivars? Yes. For example, Haas, Shepherd, Reed, Carmen, Gem. So the answer is yes, there is going to be different accuracy. Currently, I am 100% guessing, because we haven't had anyone do these studies yet, is that you are going to have a lower accuracy using a different variety other than Haas, because this model was built on Haas avocados. With other varieties, you will likely see a kind of a lower or higher range of measurements that aren't quite as accurate as it would be on a Haas avocado. The next question from Duncan is, what quality parameters can you measure on apples? Dry matter, pressure, starch, Brix. So we are currently working on a apple application, which is a fun phrase to say. We are working on an apple application for the F751, and we are hoping to use that to assess all the quality parameters that are needed for harvest, including dry matter and Brix. As I can tell you right now that measuring starch content on its own using NIR is a difficult undertaking, but if that is a important parameter that is something that you would like to see in an instrument, then you can please feel free to shoot us an email and let us know. The next question is, do we manufacture an avocado firmness tester? Unfortunately, we do not. We just are kind of putting all of our faith into this avocado quality meter because as long as the dry matter is at a appropriate level, around a minimum of 20.8% in Hass avocados, then that correlates to an acceptable oil content. And then from there, it relies mostly on the ripening process. The next question is, how do you calibrate the equipment? I couldn't find it in the manual we have for the F750. So it is not going to be quite the same as the F750 because this already comes with a pre-built-in, very robust model that should be accurate right out of the box. So with the F750, you have to create, and we have some starter models, but you do have to train those models quite extensively. You also have to, if you don't have that product or that commodity as a starter model, then you have to build a model from scratch, which is a very complex procedure. But if you need help, if you are having issues with your F751, please reach out to myself or my coworker, Eric, and we will get in touch with you about how to go about performing any maintenance that you might need. Andrea, the question is there any range limit for measurements? And I think I've already kind of touched on that. So it goes very low, but it maxes out at 40% dry matter. The next question is, will the data viewer software be available for Mac? That is something that we are working on. I'm pretty sure that we currently only offer it in Windows version, but that is something that we can most certainly try to accommodate for you. Next question. Hi, do we need a firmware upgrade to use fruit maps on the F750? Depending on, that is a question that requires a couple more specifics on your end. So please feel free to reach out with that question to our support at felixinstruments.com so that we can assess whether or not your firmware is the most recent firmware, what your model number is, and et cetera. So that's something that we'll need a little bit more information on. The next question is the temperature of the fruit relevant when reading dry matter? How about sunlight? Yes, both are important. So what I recommend, especially if you're going to be scanning multiple fruit, or if you're scanning a single fruit multiple times, is let it kind of equilibrate after you've taken a measurement so that it isn't still warm when you put it back on to measure it again. As far as sunlight is concerned, yes, extra sunlight, it is possible for it to enter the lens, but at the same time, our lens does correct for that ambient light. However, you do want to make sure that that avocado is covering as much of the lens as possible. The next question is, how does the instrument handle temperature variation? Well, to answer that, we actually built that into our model. The model is made using various temperatures. So it should be kind of built in that the avocado meter should be able to automatically correct for any sort of extreme temperature variations. But I do highly recommend that you always try to let the avocado, if you're scanning multiple times, try to let it equilibrate back to ambient temperature, and also make sure that if you're measuring multiple avocados, that you try to do it all around the same time of the day if you're doing it outside. And also I would recommend that you record those temperatures so that you may use that for fruit maps or any other software you might have to kind of track that information. The next question is, what can we measure on Nectarines besides dry matter and Brix? Well, Nectarines is not an application that we've really pursued quite yet, but it is one that we will put on our radar if it's being requested in this chat. So thank you, Alessio. The next question is, will we be able to add fruit applications to a single F751, i.e. more than one fruit with one device? So how we've decided to kind of progress with our F751 line is that each F751 is going to be commodity specific. And we do still offer the F750, which is a more open model of the F751 that allows you to create different models for different commodities. So in a single F750, you can have as many applications for as many commodities as you want. But for the F751s, we're designing these to be as simple and intuitive to use as possible so that the minimal training and minimal work is required to begin your data collection. The next question is, our customers are interested in the F751 Mango. Is it coming soon? The answer to that question is yes, very, very soon. So look for updates on our website or on our social media. Also for newsletters coming from us that should be coming within the next month or so. The next question is, what are your views on calibration model transfer across different units of the same instrument type? Does it affect the accuracy for prediction? It most certainly does, because every instrument is not going to have the exact same spectrometer, the exact same lamp, the exact same lens, the exact same detector. It's all going to be slightly, ever so slightly different across every instrument. So you can't just assume that the exact same model is going to work on every instrument. So that's what we've kind of prepared for, and that's what we do as our production team does before we ship out every F751, is that we calibrate them and we make sure that that model is working for that specific instrument. The next question is, do we only require second derivative absorbance data to make calibration model on model builder software? The answer to that question is that yes, you technically only need the second derivative absorbance data, but the instrument actually collects all of it. And realistically, we are not expecting anyone with using the F751 to be using the model builder software. That's more of a application for the F750, but both of the instruments collect much more than just the second derivative. The second derivative happens to be what is displayed on the model builder software, but it uses all the raw data to create that second derivative in the view of the model builder software. Our next question is, with the Brix meter for kiwi and mango, could it potentially be used for berries? Berries are another application that we are looking into. We have our sites currently on strawberry, and also we have in the past and may in the future look into other berry type commodities. So that is a very good potential. The next question is, can we measure temperature of the fruit using this device? So this device does not necessarily have an actual built-in temperature probe, so you will not be able to measure temperature directly with the device. The next question is, I did develop 2 models on Nectarines using the F750 for Brix and dry matter using sample size of about 100 fruit. We hope we can publish results soon. I was wondering whether potentially we could use the F750 for something else. I would very much like you to go ahead and email me and we can discuss this further because I am always open to collaboration and I'm always open to hearing other people's applications of our instruments. So Alessio, please feel free to email my email at ggeorge@felixinstruments.com. Susie was probably typing that into the chat right now as we speak, but I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. And that is the last of our questions. So unless anyone else has any last minute questions here, we will leave up the Zoom meeting, the webinar, for a little bit longer. And then we will get back to anyone that has any last minute questions via email. Other than that, thank you guys so much for attending this webinar, and I really appreciate your time. And I hope that this webinar has piqued your interest, and I'm always free to answer more questions. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.